Making a film tends to be a really quiet process for me. It's a lot about slowing down a moment, trying to get that feeling onto the screen.
When I was growing up, I thought, no one's gonna wanna care about my story. I live in the Midwest. It's a flyover state and area, but really, it's the heartland of America. I'm in the perfect position, being a lifelong Indianapolis resident and a Midwest native, to share, like, this is who we are and we don't need someone else telling our stories.
The shorthand version of Indiana Humanities' mission is to think, read, and talk. Using stories through film is a terrific way to get people to think, read, and talk. Well, the purpose of the Joe and Carol Trimmer Indiana Film Fund is to support and uplift the amazing creative filmmakers around the state and to tell more Indiana stories. Joe and Carol started off this campaign with an incredibly generous $50,000 gift. We are going to work tirelessly to match that gift dollar for dollar so we can tell even more Indiana stories.
It's a really exciting time to be an Indiana filmmaker. When the community is ready to hear our stories and also put resources behind them in terms of nonprofits or individuals, that opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
I think film funding at a local level is important because it's an endorsement. It's an endorsement of an artist, it's an endorsement of ideas, of the types of stories that should be shared locally. When you have that endorsement, it's kind of a vote of confidence.
I think another reason why I found staying in Indiana so appealing is the abundance of stories here. As Midwesterners, we represent a lot of the country, and we often don't have our stories told or represented well in mass media. So I really enjoyed that everywhere I looked, there was a potential story to tell, and a powerful one usually.
Indiana Humanities backing us with a grant for my vision is critical. It's essential. I couldn't do this without their funding because the resources it takes and the time it takes to make a good documentary is a lot.
One of the reasons why we think this is so important is that we've realized there's a ton of unmet demand. There are creative filmmakers out there with great ideas and great projects, but really no funding that will allow them to take the risk and get the project started. Although our grants to filmmakers often don't cover the entire cost of a film, it can be the catalyst that that filmmaker needs to get a project off the ground.
In terms of like logistics, it takes dozens of people to make a documentary, hundreds of hours on set, pre-production and post. It's a lot. That's why the credits are so long in movies. Like, if you want to know how long it takes, I would sit through those credits.
I think at a certain point when you're making something, you get so invested in what it's going to be that you lose track of your time or sometimes your expenses. But that was also a great thing about the grant. It helped ensure that it was the film that it was meant to be.
We are at a point in time where I don't think enough people in Indiana realize the vibrancy of the film community, and I know if they knew, they would want to be with us in supporting them.
I think you find the same thing beyond the lens that you find behind the lens, as far as collaboration and working together and caring about each other. That's what makes Indiana stories so wonderful.
I love being a filmmaker in Indiana. I would not want to work anywhere else, truly.
We think we have a role to play in helping support and launch these film projects, and we know we have an audience who's very excited to see the results.
Things like this keep the new generation of filmmakers here, so that we can keep telling the stories of our communities and, our neighbors.
After the request for proposals went out for the Waterways films from Indiana Humanities, I was inundated with people who had stories that they were looking for a filmmaker to tell. And that just goes to show how many untold amazing stories there are in Indiana. There's literally not enough time and definitely not enough funding to tell them all.